welcome you all students. In this video, I'll be discussing about statistical analysis in quantitative genetics. In this, I'll be discussing about analysis of frequency distribution. Okay, so before starting the topic, I just want to remind you people that in the last class, we learnt about quantitative characters or quantitative traits and transgressive inheritance. So in that we learned that in quantitative traits, few of the characters will exceed the parental varieties and they show high level of heterosis. Got it? So these varieties will be selected for either for farming purpose or for breeding purpose. Is that clear? But we have to, before considering these varieties, we have to be very sure whether these varieties or characters presented by them or expressed by them is genetic in nature, completely genetic in nature, or are they expressed because of some environmental influences. This is very, very important. Even though we had discussed that transgressive traits are heritable in nature, but that heritability may be affected by the environmental conditions. Especially if you take the plant as a component, they may be affected by the amount of sunlight, the amount of nutrients given to them, got it, and many other things. So we should be very clear whether the expression is due to genetics or due to the influence of any other factors. So for that we should analyze the data, large amount of data, to come to a conclusion. Is that clear? So example, if you take in this character here, height is considered as a trait, and in that you can see there are two genotypes, there are two genes which are governing for this character, two alleles governing, a single allele governing for this character. Of course it is diallele, and this character is directly controlled by the dominant alleles. Because of that reason, they are giving rise to a tall plant with no environmental influence. Let's take the second one, which is in heterozygous condition, where you can see the plant is heterozygotic in nature. The additivity has come down. That is, in the last class we had discussed about additivity. Is that clear? The additivity level of dominant genes has come down. In spite of that, the plant is giving a very good height because of the influence of the environment. This is what we have to note. Okay, let's take the third example. In this, you can see there is no dominant genes at all. There is no dominant genes. The plant is recessive in condition genotypically, but you see the phenotype. The phenotype is similar to that of the dominant type. Why? Because of the large environmental influence. Got it? So a farmer or a scientist should be very careful about these variants to choose for either for sowing the seeds or selecting the seeds or for breeding purpose. Is that clear? Okay, so how to do this? So for that we have to build a statistical data which involves large amount of individuals analyzed. To analyze that, to measure the statistical differences, two important scientist principles are being utilized. One is Galton's principle to check the distribution of the phenotypes, pattern of distribution of the phenotype, and then once we have found the pattern of distribution, that has to be correlated with the other factors which may be influencing this, or this factor influencing the other factors. Okay, so one is analyzing the statistical mean, another one is correlating the mean. So for, as I said, two important methods are utilized. One is evaluation of frequency distribution of a quantitative trait, then comparison of two variables with each other. So these are the two means or two analysis we have to do for a quantitative trait. Is it clear? So let's start with the first one, that is analyzing the frequency distribution. So what is frequency distribution? Frequency distribution is a graph of frequencies or number of proportions of different phenotypes given in a graph like this. So there are three types of distribution. One is the normal distribution. So in the normal distribution, you can see here, it's a normal bell-shaped distribution, which we can see in a normal quantitative trait, okay, which expresses in 1:4:6:4:1, and you can see the proportions expressed in that. Okay, what proportions is expressed in 1:4:6:4:1 with respect to 16 genotypes. Got it? So the next is the second type. It is completely skewed type of distribution. There is only one type of selection. Either the dominant genes are selected, or heterozygotes are selected, or the recessives are selected, and the combinations or the interpretation combinations is also skewing to one side. This is called as skewed distribution. Is that clear? During selection, all this will be considered either for natural selection or for artificial selection. The next is another type of selection, which we call it as bimodal selection, where two groups are selected, one with a dominant, another one with a recessives, or one with intermediate, another one with a dominant or recessive. Like that, two groups are selected. So in these groups, again there will be variance. In these groups, again there will be different proportions. In that proportions, we have to select the mid point, or you can say the one which gives highest proportions in number, which will be continuous in appearance. Is that clear? So to do that, we have to find the midpoint. Got it? So we have to find the midpoint in the distribution. So that is finding the mean or analyzing the mean. So what is mean? In the frequency distribution, okay, a frequency distribution, it is a concise method of summarizing all the phenotypes of a quantitative trait. And this frequency distribution is analyzed with a parameter called as mean, which is the sum of all the values in the group divided by the number of individuals in the group. Got it? So that gives us the midpoint or the mean, where most number of phenotypes are distributed. Is that clear? So here you can see there is two pattern of distribution. Example, if you consider the height variation in height in a class, so we have two midpoints, which are two groups having different mean. Is that clear? So one is showing the high level of mean, whereas the other one as the less mean, but both of them is distributed normally. So hence there is a bell-shaped curve. The mean provides, and this will provide the information at what point they are distributed. Got it? So here you can see the normal distribution, but two distributions are centered at different heights. Is that clear? So we have to find the midpoint. So how to do? For that, we have to use this formula is used, that is the Galton's formula. X bar is equal to sigma x by n, where x is the mean, sigma x is the sum of all the values in the group divided by the number of individuals in the groups. Is that clear? Gives us the mean of the distribution. So this is generally used, or you can say generally termed in this using this formula, that is x bar is equal to sigma fi by xi by n, where x is the mean, xi fi is the sum of all the values in the group. Each value in the group is multiplied by the frequency of the group. Is that clear? So that the error becomes less when we square it up. Okay, I have divided by the number of individuals in the group. Is that clear? So for example, if you consider, suppose a bushel of corn had ears with following lengths. Okay, that is 15, 14, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, 17, 15, and so on. Okay, then this is how the mean is found. Is that clear? So the mean of this population is 15 centimeters. Is that clear? So you can learn as many examples as possible. Practically, this is very, very important. to find the mean of an trait. So once we find the mean of a trait, next is to find the variance between the two means or two groups. That is very, very important. Is that clear? Let's see next. So next is to evaluate the frequency distribution quantitatively by analyzing the variance, because the mean, which is also called as the average, mean, which is just an average of all, provides information about the location of the center of distribution, but it tells us nothing about the range of variability of the data. Got it? We will come to know where most of the data is falling, but it will not tell the variation involved in that fall, or you can say involved in that point. Is that clear? So for that we have to find the variance. Why? Because in genetics we are much interested in finding the variation. Why? That particular phenotypic variation exists. And this is the most important part of any breeding experiment and evolution. Why would that point become the point of selection? What could be the reason for that? It does not just stand on one single component. Got it? And especially in case of selective breeding, it is very, very important. Naturally, of course, we have studied selection and speciation, in that how it happens. Is that clear? Okay. So a common way to evaluate variation within a group or population is with a statistical method or tool called the variance, which is a measure of the variation around the mean. Is that clear? So remember, a common way to evaluate variation within a population is with a static called the variance, and which is the measure of variation around the mean. Is that clear? So now the next task we have is to learn how to find the variance. So variance is again linked with the standard deviation. Both has to be estimated at once. So what does this variance mean? So you can see here there are different distributions which have different variance, or first they were all just the mean of each group. So now they have a different level of deviation, that is called as the variation or variance. So what is the variation between this group and this group, and what is the variation between this group and this group, tells you the exact reason for variation. Got it? That would be related with many other components later on. We will be studying that later on. So now here you just remember, variance provides the information about the variability of a group of phenotypes. Is that clear? So you came to know the importance of. The greater the variance, the more spread out the distribution is around the mean. Is that clear? So if the variance is greater, the distribution is more spread. Got it? So you can see here it is skewed to one side and the variance is just 0.25. Means between individuals the variation is very less, whereas here the variance is very high, means the difference between an individual is very, very high. Got it? So more number of proportions with more different variances possible. The same way here also. Is that clear? So like this, finding the midpoint with variance is very, very important. So for that, what we have to do? We have to know what is variance then. Variance is defined as the average square deviation from the mean. Okay, variation is average squared deviation from the mean, which is calculated by using the formula variance is equal to square is equal to variation, that is V is equal to sigma x minus x bar square divided by the number of individuals minus 1. Is that clear? So this is the formula which is used to find the variance. So to calculate variance, what we have to do? First, subtract the mean from each point and square the value obtained. Next, add the square deviations. Okay, add all the square deviations and divide this sum by the number of original measurements minus 1 using this formula. Is this clear? Okay, next is we have to enter into how we have to present that, how the variance is present. The variance is squared. Okay, the variance is a squared value. So hence, to express variation around the mean in the original units of measurement, we can use the square root of the variance, which is termed as standard deviation. That is, SD is equal to square root of Vx. That is the variance. Is this clear? So like this, we can easily find the variance around the mean. So this is an example in which we can notice how the variance is being obtained. Got it? So using the formula with the same example for which we have found the mean, the same example is considered to find the variance. Got it? So you can see how it is squared up and the standard deviation is presented here, which is 1 by 1.15 centimeters. Is that clear? Okay. So like this, we can easily find the variance for all the components or the groups which is under study. So because of the quantitative traits, because the quantitative traits are additive under certain conditions, therefore the variance of different factors that contribute a quantitative trait, such as genetic and environmental factors, has to be added together to predict the total variance for that trait. Therefore, this type of statistic variance analysis is very useful in predicting the outcome of genetic crosses. Is that clear? So you came to know what is the application of variance in genetics. Got it? Thank you. So with this, you people should be able to answer these questions. What is frequency distribution? Mention its types and its implications in biometrical genetics. Define mean, standard deviation and variance. Okay, you have to solve few problems using the formulas which is given with respect to mean, standard deviation and variance. Okay, so mention the formula and steps applied in finding mean, deviation and variance. Is that clear? Okay, thank you all once again.